Hey guys, we got cut off, or my video ran out here time-wise. We were in the process of doing number 11 here, so if you need a little more help as far as multiplying matrices, and again, if you didn't watch the previous video, part 3, these are doozies, these are interesting. But once you get it set up, it's a matter of picking up a calculator. So I will say that we were halfway through, so we had done everything in the first row. So if I'm going to do B times C, that means if I want the bottom set of numbers, I go with the bottom row. And if I want that first answer, use the first column. So it's row times column plus row times column. So I've got a -7 in the bottom row and a -6. That's the first one in the column. Plus whatever was second in the bottom row times whatever was second in the column. So that will give me the row 2, column 1 answer. Running out of colors. Okay. Erase that. Okay, so if I want the bottom row middle answer, I go bottom row, middle column. So again, -7, first guy I circled, times 9, first guy I circled, plus 31, first guy I circled, -3, second guy I circled. And that will give me that answer. And you just keep working your way across. So I guess the good news is, if you do get this figured out, it's not that big a deal because you're just doing the same thing over and over. Bottom row, third column would give me the bottom row third answer. So I got a -7 and a -2 circled, plus I've got a 31 and an 8. You know, folks, in the interest of time, I'm not going to bother going through this. You can obviously pick up a calculator and you could do each individual one of these, just keeping in mind that to get this answer, you would, here's one answer, punch that in a calculator. Here's the middle answer, punch that in a calculator. Here's the end answer, punch that in a calculator. And then obviously you would get 3 answers in the bottom. Okay, I'm not going to bother taking the time to actually multiply all that out. You can do that on a calculator, but I did want to take the time to write this for this reason. Here's another thing that might help you out a little bit. So if you watched the previous video, you would know this. If you didn't, we'll point it out anyway. You can only, let me go back and get a darker color. You can only do the problem in the first place if these two numbers match right here. So if I say I'm doing a 2x2 matrix times a 2x3 matrix, these two numbers, these inside numbers better match. And then not coincidentally, these outside numbers, those will end up being the size of the matrix you get. So if you look down here at the bottom, we said on number 11, that first number was a 2, and that last number was a 3. That's the size of the matrix you should get. And that's pretty obvious. We do end up with 2 rows and 3 columns, but who cares, right? Because you got a bunch of numbers, you multiply them out, you were going to get 6 answers anyway. All right, let's check out a little word problem down here. One cool thing about matrices, you can actually use them for real life sort of things. Now this is sort of a little bit of a lame example, but that's okay. So here's 4 schools that competed in, I believe, a swim meet. Yep. And there's the number of first places they got, second places, and third places, and so on. So as a scorekeeper, and obviously you could do this by hand, it wouldn't be that hard, but you could even set this up as a matrix and even have a computer do it. So if I wanted to multiply this out to see how many points, so they're saying you get 7 points for each first place that your school gets, you get 4 points for a second, and you get 2 for a third. Well, now I could just make a matrix. Okay, and let me point this out real quick. So this great big matrix we're looking at would be, it's got 4 rows and 3 columns. So if I want to multiply it by something, remember, this number and this number better match. So I need to make a matrix that's 3 by something. Well, if I did 3 rows, I would be using obviously the 7 points for first place, 4 points for second place, and 2 points for third place. And that's it. That's all my numbers. So I wouldn't need any more columns. So I would have a 3 by 1 matrix that I could multiply it by. But again, kind of important to know this. Those 3's have to match. Otherwise, I couldn't do the problem in the first place. Okay, so one more illustration on how this guy gets set up. So if I want to do that great big matrix right here, times that matrix right there, I have to go first row times first column. Well, there's only one column, so that actually ends up being a little bit convenient. So row times column plus anything that's in the row, the 7, times the middle guy in the column. So this is different than the other ones because there's a third one, plus there's still a 3 in that row, but a 2 in the column. And that'll give me the first answer. I'll put a little equal sign out here. So then I would go second row times the column, and there's only one column, so you don't get a choice. So 8 times 7, those are the first numbers matched, plus second number times second number plus third number times third number. And we'll figure out what that equals here in a minute. All right, third row times the column, and again, there's only one column, so you don't get a choice. First number times first number plus middle number, that is a 5, believe it or not, times middle number, which is a 4, plus last number times last number. So hopefully this is starting to make some sense. And lastly, last row times the column. So first number was a 3 times the first number, which is a 7, plus middle number, which was a 3, times middle number, which was a 4, plus last number, which is a 6, times last number, which was a 2. And again, this is something that somebody obviously could have done in their head anyway, but as far as a matrix goes, if you knew how to operate matrices, it actually kind of makes it kind of easy. So all I have to do is total it up. So let's see, 28 and 28 is 56, and 6 would be 62 points. Calculator, guys, would be helpful, right? 8 times 7 is 56. 56 and 36 is 92, and 2 is 94. 70 and 20 is 90, and 6 is 96. So yes, I'm adding these up in my head. I would not recommend that for you. Last one down here, finally, 3 times 7 is 21. 21 and 12 is 33. 33 and 12 is 45. So I hope I didn't make a mistake there, but I was too darn lazy to pick up a calculator. Again, if you're doing matrices, you should indicate that you're doing a matrix. Now, check this out. Again, not really that important, but it's kind of nifty. Whatever the first number was, 4, and the last number, 1, is what you should end up with for a matrix size. And it is. It's 4 rows and 1 column. So that's your point totals, and that would tell you that, let's see, 96 points was the highest. So Hayes finished first. 94 was second highest, so Franklin High School finished second. 62 points for third. Central High School was third, and poor old Lincoln finished last. All right, so there's some illustrations of how to multiply matrices. If you didn't watch the other videos, trust me, you're going to have to trust me when I say this. All the other manipulations of matrices were really pretty easy. In fact, they were cake. But the multiplication part, not so easy. Hey, thanks for watching, guys.